We all saw what we saw at the Elimination Chamber on Sunday night. The Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase against Drew McIntyre and walked out of the chamber as WWE Champion. Fast forward to Monday night, WWE seems to be undoing all of this terrible creative decision and making Bobby Lashley the WWE Champion. And in fact, he could be walking into WrestleMania as WWE Champion. Now, if that is the case, how do we book Bobby Lashley as World Champion? Where does Drew McIntyre fit into all this situation? And does WWE give us a potential dream match with Brock Lesnar being added to the WrestleMania 37 World Title match on Monday Night Raw? I am going to tell you exactly how it should be booked right here on Off the Script. Raid Shadow Legends has taken over, and gaming will never be the same again. Raid is the first game to bring a true console-level experience to your phone. They've set the bar very high, and there's no going back. Explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 500 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your team, develop your champions, and raid your way. Over 25 million downloads. Over 1 million players play the game every single day. Nearly 2 billion PvP live player battles have been fought so far. Over 10 billion PvE battles fought. There's over 250,000 clans created. Nearly 1,000 videos are posted a week on YouTube about Raid, featuring guides, strategies, and material to help you progress through the game and champion your way through Raid. And there's an active Discord community with 87,000 players, a server with over 60 channels, and different languages just for Raid. I understand a game like Raid and its magnitude can be very scary for a lot of players. But that's where their YouTube community comes in. That's where their Discord community comes in. Everybody is always willing to help you out whenever you need it. There's always somebody there willing to help you understand which champions to develop using online resources. There's always going to be somebody to help you find out where you can make the most of your champions, to tell you about artifacts and accessories, where to get them, and how to use them. Raid recently released its biggest update ever, the Doom Tower. A giant tower with 120 floors, full of secret challenge rooms, and 12 seriously badass bosses to take on. And that's not all. With a bunch of new champions coming soon, and a load of awesome events coming up through February, there's never been a better time to dive in and get started. Support my channel by downloading Raid Shadow Legends using my links below. And if you're a new player, you can get an exclusive welcome pack that contains 50,000 silver, 50 gems, 5 mystery shards, 1 energy refill, 1 day XP boost, 1 clan boss key, and a free awesome champion, the Shaman. Look at how cool this champion is that you'll get for free. You will find your extra rewards here in the inbox for the next 30 days only. It's really that easy. Just click the link in the description, available now on iPhone, Android, and PC. And I want to thank them for supporting the podcast right here on Off the Script. I'm in some mood. I don't know whether I'm in a good mood or a bad mood or an indifferent mood. This show sucks. This show is absolutely garbage every single week. But my God, man, the road to WrestleMania in 2021 may be the worst I have ever seen it, man. There really is no creativity. There's no ideas that are ideas. You know when you get ideas and you kind of know that someone's been planning something and they're watching all of their hard work and planning just be put into motion, and you see it just being spelled out over weekly television? I feel like WWE really doesn't know what the fuck they're doing next week. They'll get to next week's Raw. They'll write the show about 6 p.m., and then they'll worry about what they're doing on a week-to-week basis for the next 6 weeks, just like that, operating like that. They probably don't even have fucking WrestleMania in pencil yet. It's fucking March. In 1 week, we'll be in March, and WWE has not one fucking plan for WrestleMania outside of Reigns and Edge, which I don't think is the right idea anyway, but that's all they got. That's all they got. You know, last night, WWE fans were rejoicing that The Miz won the WWE title. Now, these people, they have the IQ of a fucking empty can of soda. This is well known to everybody. Casual wrestling fans are the dumbest fucks you'll probably find walking God's green. Now, I am not a casual fan. I am so much more intelligent than everybody watching this fucking show right now. I mean, give me a break. There's a reason why I'm in front of this microphone and you're behind your computer screens fucking hate watching me. Not everybody in my chat. The people that are here to support me, you guys are just as intelligent as I am. I've taught you well. But the casual wrestling fan, after Elimination Chamber, they just came out of their fucking caves to rejoice that The Miz won the WWE Championship. Now, I don't know who, with a functioning brain, thought that this was the WWE Championship or the WWE Champion that we all deserve going into WrestleMania. I'm going to blow you guys away with something that I've uttered on this very show. I've said this about Kenny Omega. I've said this about Jon Moxley. I've said this about Roman Reigns. I've said this about everybody that's held the championship. I even said it about Drew McIntyre. Okay? I am glad none of you run a fucking professional wrestling company or a combat sport promotion. I'm glad none of you do that, and I pray to God that none of you will ever be in the business, okay? When someone is at the level of a Roman Reigns, for example, okay, and you're going into the biggest show of the entire year for your company, when you have someone on the level of a Roman Reigns, and he's performing at the level that he's performing right now, which is fucking planets above everybody else. When you have someone like Roman Reigns, and he comes to work every single day, and somehow, magically, I don't know how, gets better every single week, and the act just grows every single week, and his performances grow every single week and get better every single week, why would you even discuss taking said Universal Championship off of Roman Reigns? Why would you go and do that? Now, I'm not saying that Roman Reigns should be the Universal Champion forever. But I'm saying, when Roman Reigns is performing at this level, and you have not one single person on that roster that should even be in discussion to take that title off of him, when you have not one single person that is even in the same state that he's in, there's Roman Reigns and then there's everybody else. When you have someone like Roman Reigns at the top, and you have absolutely nobody even close to where he is at the top, then that means you shouldn't be making anybody else a fucking champion until someone else comes along, or you do your jobs as producers or agents or fucking management to build somebody up to get that person on the level of a Roman Reigns. Until that happens, then Roman Reigns should never lose the fucking Universal Championship. I said that about Reigns. I said that about Omega. I've said that about Moxley. I've said that about McIntyre. At one point or another, I said that about Rollins too, but, I mean, he was just a complete fucking disaster. Until you develop a guy, someone, to come along and is at the same level that could potentially be an equal to someone like Roman Reigns, then we can be in discussion about possibly taking the Universal title off of Roman Reigns. Did WWE have that on Monday Night Raw? The answer is no. It wasn't Styles, it wasn't Lashley, it wasn't Strowman, and it certainly wasn't the fucking Miz. This is what I don't get about the casual fucking brain dead idiots on social media. If you just listened to every word out of my mouth and said, yeah, man, you're right, then that's the end of discussion. I don't know how anybody could be running a wrestling company going into the biggest show of the year, and you're there thinking that The Miz is the best guy on your roster to win the WWE Championship on the road to WrestleMania. I don't know how anybody could conceive such a fucking disastrous thought. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're clearly not for the promotion. You're clearly not for the betterment of WrestleMania. I don't know what the fuck you're for. Honestly, all these people that came out and celebrated The Miz winning and saying The Miz deserved it, like, where the fuck were you all year? Did you even watch the goddamn fucking show? None of you watched the fucking show. You only came out yesterday because you all knew it was a fucking terrible decision, and all the people that said it was a terrible decision, all you did was troll said terrible decision and claim that it was right. That's all you did. There's no fucking way anybody thinks that this promotion needs The Miz as WWE Champion, that you should be making him the WWE Champion, that he's the best you have on the road to WrestleMania. You are a complete fucking idiot. Right there, dead. No combat. Nobody could refute anything I just said. Now, granted, The Miz, I don't know where they're going with any of this, okay? First of all, I would have never executed said creative plan last night. I thought it was awful. First of all, the guy, listen, all these people celebrating his win, you do realize he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase, right? He was gifted the Money in the Bank briefcase. So if you are celebrating The Miz winning the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber, you're actually also celebrating the death and demise of the Money in the Bank concept. Because he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase at TLC. He was never even in the fucking Money in the Bank ladder match. Otis won the briefcase. And by the way he won it, it was a fucking disgrace right from the word go. So Otis won it. Miz won it in a match against Otis. Miz lost the briefcase, was gifted the briefcase back on some fucking bizarre bullshit technicality, and then he cashes it in. But what happened to The Miz in between all that I mentioned? He was feuding with Otis. He was feuding with Mandy Rose and Otis, and he was feuding with Heavy Machinery. He was feuding with Big E and New Day. He was in a 2-on-1 handicap, by the way, where Braun Strowman destroyed both Miz and Morrison in a fucking handicap match for the WWE Championship, or Universal Championship, rather. I'm sorry, this was on SmackDown. Then he got moved to Monday Night Raw. And he was in some of the worst segments that Monday Night Raw has produced, all in 2020 and even into 2021. He was a part of the lowest rated segment on Monday night this year with Drew McIntyre. Handicap matches to Drew McIntyre, losing to Drew McIntyre, and handicap matches with John Morrison. But this guy, to the geeks, he deserved to win the WWE Championship. You know when The Miz should have won the WWE Championship? When he was feuding with Daniel Bryan after cutting that great promo on Talking Smack before they fucking canned it the first time. That's when he should have been the WWE Champion, not now. But you're celebrating him winning the championship now because everybody else hates the idea, and you know that everybody that hates the idea is right. I think I uncovered everything that happened in the community in the last 24 hours. Now, I will say this. The Miz, looking back at it, it's not that I'm angry that The Miz won the WWE Championship. I think it's fucking awful. The fact of the matter is, if you think this guy's the best you got, to put the title on him, that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is the way you've treated Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre might not be everybody's cup of coffee. I know there are people that don't like Drew McIntyre. I know that there are people out there that think Drew McIntyre is fucking boring. I can see why. But he led this company in the middle of a pandemic The guy got fucked over from having a WrestleMania, a lifetime moment taken away from him because of COVID. He had to do WrestleMania last year and win the title against Brock Lesnar in a fucking empty gymnasium. And he led this show and showed up to work without bitching or complaining to anybody to carry this piece of shit show every fucking week. That's what he deserves? That's what you think Drew McIntyre deserves. I don't give a fuck if you hate him, love him, indifferent towards him. If you don't like him at all, you don't know who he is. I don't give a fuck what you think. The fact of the matter is, the guy busted his fucking ass. And that alone deserves recognition and credit. Another reason why I didn't like this shit is because WWE rolled out the red carpet for Drew McIntyre to beat Brock Lesnar. And yeah, he lost the title somewhere in between to Randy Orton. But that was another bizarre technicality. I don't know why that happened. But you roll out the red carpet to get this guy a match with Brock Lesnar, have him beat Brock Lesnar, ultimately to lose the title going into this year's WrestleMania against The Miz. So you put him over Brock Lesnar to ultimately have him drop the title in this type of fashion to The Miz. The Miz. So not only did you ruin his momentum, not only did you put a huge fucking red flag in the road to WrestleMania, but you gave one of the biggest jobbers in the entire company the WWE Championship over a guy that should have never lost the championship. And the only reason why WWE is doing what they are doing now is because they have not one fucking clue. They didn't want the briefcase on The Miz. They had to give it back to The Miz because this is their product of bullshit. They are so creatively inept and creatively bankrupt that look at all the confusion that they're causing. You think that it's unpredictable television. It's not. It's a company that doesn't know what the fuck they want to do. All they had to do, I laid it out for you. If Edge was going to win the Royal Rumble, all you had to do was have Edge challenge McIntyre and Bryan win the Chamber and challenge Reigns. Why was that so difficult? Now look at where we are. You got Edge and Reigns on SmackDown. McIntyre was nowhere to be found tonight, which worries the fuck out of me because I think he's going to interfere in the match next week and The Miz is going to retain. I hope to God not. I hope to God not. But look at Monday Night Raw's side to the road that is WrestleMania. You take my ideas, which would have kept the Chamber importance intact, would have given Drew McIntyre a quality fucking opponent and a quality storyline, while also rounding out WrestleMania as a whole, where you would have the top three matches as Drew McIntyre, Edge, Reigns, and Bryan, Sasha, Bianca, Rhea, Asuka versus Charlotte. You want to do fucking triple threat? God, by all means, go ahead. I mean, folks, there's a reason why I'm in front of this microphone and have one of the most successful podcasts in the entire YouTube wrestling community. I'm not some fucking pushover. I'm not some shill. I give it to you like I see it. I give you the fucking facts, okay? Most of the time, my opinion is fact. WrestleMania looks like shit after WWE pulled this Miz stunt on Sunday night. Trash. Look at how much damage they've caused. Now that I got that out of the way, I look at this Miz situation on Monday night. I swear to God, I tried my best to go into it with a fucking straight head, with a clear head. I'm watching the Miz come out tonight, and I'm thinking to myself, listen, you know, the Miz is an awful wrestler. I think we all know that. His offense is some of the worst in the entire company. But man, can the guy talk on the microphone? He is an incredible promo when he wants to be. There was once upon a time where I was a big advocate for The Miz. Everybody knows that's been watching me, man. I was a big advocate for The Miz when he won his first WWE Championship. I remember where I was and what I was doing. I was in bed. I popped out of bed like a fucking smart mark when he won the title. I thought he was the fucking best thing in the entire company when he won his first WWE Championship because it was so different. He was not supposed to win the title. That's why I loved it. I went into this with a straight head. Listened to this guy cut a promo. Awesome promo. to start the show. And I'm thinking over what happened here. I see Lashley come out looking like a fucking mobster in that white suit he was wearing. He's cutting a decent promo. Bobby Lashley was never good with words, but he cut a decent promo against The Miz. And he says he has till 9 o'clock to give me what I want. Otherwise, there's going to be fucking bloodshed. So he gave The Miz till 9 o'clock to make a decision. And I'm thinking where WWE is going with this. And it became more and more of a reality that I think everybody was worrying for no reason. WWE didn't give the title to The Miz to walk into WrestleMania as the WWE Champion. That's not happening. WWE gave the title to The Miz because they didn't know what the fuck to do with the Money in the Bank briefcase and the WWE title because of their own bullshit political agendas. They left Reigns and Edge as the top priority without giving McIntyre a solid plan on Monday Night Raw because he literally ran through everybody. So now WWE was forced to do what they did on Sunday night, and I'm thinking, The Miz is not going into WrestleMania as the world champion. So at the end of this show, we got Lashley and Miz. That is the match for next week. And barring any fucking Drew McIntyre interference here, Bobby Lashley is going to be the new WWE champion. I'm pretty certain of that. I hope it doesn't end up where Drew McIntyre comes back and he helps Bobby Lashley. Why would Bobby Lashley need help to fucking beat The Miz? I hope it's not a situation where Drew McIntyre comes back and he claymores The Miz to give the big fuck you to Bobby Lashley because Bobby Lashley was the one who really facilitated this thing with MVP to make all of this Money in the Bank briefcase cash-in happen. I hope that's not the case. I hope that is not the case. Then that would mean more than likely we get a match at Fastlane between Lashley and The Miz, and then Drew McIntyre gets his match with Lashley at WrestleMania. That's boring. That's not the way I would go about it at all. So what I'm thinking here is WWE gave the title to The Miz to have a 1-week title reign, and Lashley's going to win the title next week. And if Lashley wins the title, which he should, that would give him enough time to build to a match with somebody. I don't know who it's going to be against. Maybe against Strowman. Maybe against The Miz again. I have no idea. But I would not give Lashley the title victory at Fastlane. It happens next week. WWE has 1 week to make this right. 1 week. If Bobby Lashley does not win the title next week, this has seen its expiration date. It's too long. Bobby Lashley wins the title next week. It gives him enough of a title reign to build to Fastlane and build in between Fastlane and WrestleMania to a match with whoever WWE has in mind at WrestleMania. If WWE waits till Fastlane to have Lashley win the title, that leaves him 2 weeks to build a title match with somebody. That's not WrestleMania. That's not very WrestleMania-esque. It's not the way I would do it. You give him the title next week and you fucking end this bullshit and move on. The Miz can go and do what he's got to do with fucking Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. So what happens when Bobby Lashley wins the title? Is it going to be a situation with Drew McIntyre getting an immediate match against Bobby Lashley? Is that going to be the match they're building towards? Drew McIntyre is just not going to come back and claim ownership of a title shot. Something has to happen between that for Drew McIntyre. Keep in mind, Sheamus won the gauntlet match. Sheamus pinned Drew McIntyre while he was still the WWE Champion in order for Drew McIntyre to get another shot at Bobby Lashley instead of coming back and doing these bullshit rematch clauses, which they've done away with. Sheamus pinning Drew McIntyre means that Drew McIntyre now has to show management that he has to beat Sheamus at Fastlane in order to get a title shot. So I would not have Drew McIntyre come back and automatically get a WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley. And then nobody else is in discussion. It's going to be Drew McIntyre, Sheamus at Fastlane. And then McIntyre could be added to the WWE title match. But I don't think WWE is going to go with just Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. I think that's too boring. I said it on Sunday. I'm going to say it here again. No matter how good Bobby Lashley has been booked, that's not a WrestleMania WWE Championship match to me. Now, their match back in 2020 was not bad. It actually surprised the shit out of me. But I don't really see that as a WrestleMania WWE Championship match. That's good enough for like a Clash of Champions or a Backlash or one of those fucking D-level pay-per-views. Not a WrestleMania. No way. What I think WWE is doing, and there's a reason why Lashley has been absolutely booked as perfect as WWE could probably book anybody on Monday Night Raw. And it's not for Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was a fucking casualty in WWE's negligence here creatively. They didn't book him this strong for Drew McIntyre. Are you fucking serious? WWE has booked Bobby Lashley the way that they have for the majority of the last year because of Brock Lesnar. I think WWE is waiting for Lesnar to come back. They're waiting on Lesnar's word for him to say, you know what, I want to do it. I'll be at WrestleMania. Let me go hunt some more deer first and fuck my wife. I'll be back. Have a couple of Coors Light, I'll be back. They didn't build Bobby Lashley up for Drew McIntyre. They did. They're building him up because they want that match with Brock Lesnar. And WWE's not going to give you Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar in a one-on-one match because Vince loves Bobby Lashley. Vince loves Brock Lesnar. And I think both guys' egos, if that is the one match, I cannot see either guy wanting to lose to the other. So what I think they do is I think they go, Bobby Lashley wins the WWE title. Drew McIntyre is the valiant babyface. He's got Sheamus to deal with. He might have Styles to deal with. Lesnar comes back, claims he wants the title back because he's fucking Brock Lesnar. You just build around all this insurmountable odds against Drew McIntyre. You have him get the big payoff at WrestleMania. You book McIntyre, Lashley, Lesnar at WrestleMania for the WWE title. At that same time, we get Lashley and Lesnar in a match together. They could fucking cause carnage. Drew McIntyre gets his big WrestleMania moment that he was supposed to have last year in front of fans, wins the title back, pins Bobby Lashley or pins Brock Lesnar, whoever they want him to go pin Bobby Lashley, because I can't see Lesnar losing again. Have him pin Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, crown him the new WWE champion a third time in 1 year, and then move on from this bullshit. That's exactly what I think they are going to do. That's WrestleMania. Lashley McIntyre on its own is not WrestleMania. So this is why I'm a little bit more at ease tonight with the entire Miz situation. Listen, the Miz is not going into WrestleMania as the WWE champion. He's not. Now, I'll cycle back to this next week, and I might be thinking the same thing, but like I said, if WWE doesn't take this title off of him next week, they've royally fucked up. They've royally fucked up. I wouldn't have even put the title on him to begin with. But this is where we are. So now we have to come up with a plan fucking B, because WWE's perfect plan A, the road that I laid out for them, they clearly didn't do. So that's where I think we are going with all this nonsense. Hey, assholes, you want more? Then you gotta hit subscribe. Every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then on Saturday with the flagship podcast, I am here giving you guys the best in the IWC. Live streams after every major show during the week and the flagship Off the Script podcast on Saturday night. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because what we do here, nobody is doing it better.